Welcome to the Orange Flag Podcast, and welcome to our 100th episode. I'm Nicole.
I'm Austin.
I'm Aries. Sorry, I'm excited. It's 100 episodes.
No, that is a big, landmark number for us. Thanks everyone for, listening and everything. What I think everybody expected we were going to talk about last week, but we didn't. The 8 minutes to go in Road America incident. Kevin's penalty is less than what I expected him to get, but more than what I was hoping for him to get. Incident responsibility was very clearly on Kévin. Like, absolutely, per the way that race had been being run with race control, Kévin ran Jack out of road. Incident responsibility was abundantly clear there. I think one of the biggest things about being a fan of a driver is being able to admit when they're wrong. You know, you can do, I support my driver's rights, I support his wrongs, like, whatever, yeah, that's a funny meme, but ultimately, when your guy screws up, you need to be able to admit that your guy screwed up. Quite frankly, I thought he was going to get suspended, which, was very frustrating to me because, me and Travis are going to the next race. Travis, wants to meet Kévin, and I was like, that is really going to be unfortunate if the race Travis is going to, Kévin is suspended. But what I had hoped was going to happen was it was just going to be a post-race drive-through. I truly expected the 6 to be disqualified, additional points to be docked, the mech points that they had accrued be lost, or potentially, manufacturer's points be taken from them. So, to me, the moving them down 2 places and Kévin being on probation, whatever that means, still nobody can explain to me exactly what that means. It's not a great outcome, but it's a better outcome than I was expecting. I said that same kind of incident was being really consistently enforced throughout the race, and it was, except for one other incident, and it is disappointing that Aiken was not given a drive-through when he very clearly ran Nasser off the road. And ran him off the road to the point that Nasser got stuck in the gravel.
Yes.
And had to be, removed from the gravel and went multiple laps down in the race because of it. So...
Yep.
Well, needless to say for me, that was extremely frustrating for obvious reasons and less obvious ones. It was, several other incidents. I think we had, a couple of LMP2s going at it, and one knocked the other one out at that point, and the very same turn, and, seconds later, we had it on the screen, incident responsibility, drive-through, and then something similar happens, and you don't see the same outcome, and obviously, speculation starts to roll around, and, people are like, hey, is this really being effective or not, or I don't know. Don't wanna go there. We probably know what I'm referring to. So yeah, that was very frustrating, for the lack of a better word. Obviously, I think we say one thing wouldn't have led to the other happening, but maybe it would have. But how can we know? I think if the 31 had been penalized at that moment, it would have sort of butterfly affected itself into that final collision not happening. But then it's like I said, we can't be sure.
One thing that people have brought up a lot is that they feel like this penalty that Kévin got is excessive because it's something that never has been done before. Well, someone always has to be the first person to get the new penalty. After Road America last year, when they implemented this new everybody gets a drive-through stuff for driving standards, somebody was the first person to get the question is, do they continue this? If a similar incident happens, are GTP drivers or potentially pro GT drivers going to be placed on probation. Everybody's trying to compare this to like the Katzberg incident at Watkins Glen, and I just think that GT cars, whether they're GTD Pro or GTD normal, are held to a lesser standard, and rightfully so. You know, if GTP is your premier class, these are supposedly your best of the best drivers, holding them to a higher standard is perfectly acceptable to me.
It's also, I feel like we've seen it in the past of your top classes held to different standards than the rest of the classes, so I feel like it's not even like this is new.
Right, exactly. I bet that segment didn't go how anybody listening to the show, unless you actually talk to me on a regular basis, expected it to, because I think you all think I'm just going to be here glazing Kévin whether he does something right or does something wrong. And again, like, I take issue with fans like that. Fans that genuinely can't admit when their driver has screwed up. I take issues with fans like that. So, you know, I think that it is important to call out the fact that Kévin did screw up, and he deserved to be penalized.
Yep. Like, it won't make you less of a fan if you admit the driver or the team you root for essentially screws up at some point. Like, well, you've seen my outbursts here every once in a while, so you'll know what I'm on about.
I'm wearing a shirt from, you know, his Le Mans winning GTE Pro car and the hat from last weekend. I'm not suddenly like not a Kévin Estre fan because I'm admitting he screwed up. You know, I wanted to believe it wasn't his fault, but you watch the incident and, you know, it's really, you really can't say that Kévin didn't run Jack off the road, unfortunately.
I mean,
and he even admitted it. He could have given Jack more space. Yeah, Jack could have backed out, but I'm sorry. Like, if it was the other way around, like, and it was Kévin trying to make the pass on Jack, I wouldn't want Kévin to back out on that. And I wouldn't have wanted Kévin to just let Jack around the outside. You know, those two guys are two of the most exciting drivers in the GTP class in IMSA, purely because they drive like this.
Yeah, well, just to probably wrap this up, one of the things that I did see some people going on about it, and we even had an article, an opinion piece from Daily Sportscar on this, about Road America deserving an endurance round in the IMSA calendar.
100% does.
Regarding the circuit itself and its heritage and everything, I feel like it did deserve it. The one thing that I had a brief exchange of tweets with someone on the timeline was, did it actually, should the stewarding and the driving standards perhaps sort of being taken a better look at before adding another endurance round to the calendar? I think that's something valid. But
the thing is, it wasn't adding another endurance round. And was Road America truly any worse than Watkins Glen?
Exactly.
It wasn't. I mean, like, genuinely, it wasn't. I'm sorry, but at least this was a racing incident, not just a car randomly plowing into the back of another car because I guess they don't have a spotter. So, like, you know?
Yeah.
Like, both races were messy. The way that IMSA runs its races, whether you like it or don't, and I don't want to really get into a discussion or debate about this, but, like, the way IMSA runs its races causes messy restarts. So, and honestly, messy safety car periods. How many times have we seen this year where a car has been hit or hit another car under the safety car? Like, it happened at Sebring, it happened at Detroit, it happened at Watkins. Like, that's not the fault of the endurance rounds.
Exactly.
That's IMSA.
Yeah. All I'll say is, you gotta remember, it's, in a way, you know, NASCAR related, and
it's a show. The Stint said it the best. That new sports car outlet, The Stint, said it the absolute best. The show is overshadowing the racing.
Yeah. It's just...
Everybody go read that article if you haven't. It's phenomenal.
If you look at how NASCAR does things, this isn't all that surprising.
Yep.
Some other, like, news announcement kind of thing is Jacob Abel, who was an IndyCar driver, is now going to be going back to Indy next. Because one of the drivers for, like, the team his family runs, got in a crash, funding situation, so he couldn't finish out the season, so Jacob Abel's stepping into that seat, which, yeah, it's easy for him to be that guy to step into the seat because it's his family-run team, but also at the same time, is it kind of embarrassing that an IndyCar driver is stepping back to Indy next, is the big discussion people have been having.
I mean, if it's just to help the team out because they can't find, like, at this point in the season, finding a driver with funding is really hard. Obviously, like, it's Jacob's family's team, so he doesn't need to come with funding. Like, it's his own money being used, essentially. And it's not like he doesn't have things he's doing full-time, so he is an LMP2 driver in IMSA, so he's got Indy and Petite coming up. So, like, he has other stuff that he can be focusing on, so this may literally just be him stepping up to help, which initially I was like, wow, I didn't even realize that an IndyCar driver could go drive in Indy next. Like, I was 99% sure it wasn't like F2 where you, like, literally can't, but I was like, can he do that? And then it's like, okay, well, if he's just kind of helping out because otherwise that car just won't be an entrant anymore, like, I guess it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I guess for me, I'm so used to the F2, F1 way of working around things of, like, you've moved up to the highest level, you can't go back down. And it's even like, not to bring it back to NASCAR, but in NASCAR, you get the whole guys going back down to Xfinity, and now the discussion around, do we let Cup drivers do too much of the, O'Reilly series now?
Yeah.
And, like, that balance of keeping a series competitive without making it runaways by letting too many Cup drivers do too many races. I feel like this can become a kind of similar debate of, if you let guys who have reached IndyCar go back to Indy next, you can eventually run into that same issue if it became a thing.
Yeah.
So I feel like there should be something in place.
I think
but you don't see it a lot.
Alex Palou in Neil Coulin's seat?
Yeah.
Like, could Ganassi put Alex Palou in Neil's Coulin's seat if they wanted to?
It seems like it.
Or is it because Jacob is not driving full time this year? Like, nobody has these answers for me.
Yeah.
Hopefully somebody will give us these answers, because, like, nobody really was super clear on that. Like, is this because he's not full time in IndyCar right now, or could Chip put Alex in Coulin's seat if he wanted to for some wacky reason?
Because, for me at least, I think there should at least be a rule in place where, like, you can't put, like, your IndyCar drivers, like, the current IndyCar drivers into as many Indy next races as they want.
Right.
Like, I feel like that should at least be a rule.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think, maybe, I think Palou would win by 4 laps if he, I don't know, if we're being mild.
This is my new silly season prediction. Alex Palou to run Indy next, along with IndyCar in 2028. Which, silly seasons is the next thing that we're going to talk about, because there are a lot of silly seasons going on right now, man.
It's silly time.
So the I think possibly confusing, surprising. I don't know what the heck is going on. News is Théo Pourchaire to Formula E with Opel. Full-time question mark? I don't know. Like, what is Peugeot doing with their lineup next year? Because, like, Jev and Nick Cassidy have been confirmed with Citroën again next year. So, like, are they doing WEC for Peugeot and Formula E with Citroën?
Maybe.
I know, like, Jev is supposed to be coming back. He took this, like, hiatus year from WEC for developing the Gen 4 car, which, like, cool. He's certainly one of the ones you would want to, like, he's been in FE forever. He's one of the people you would want developing the next generation of car, for sure. Stoffel Vandoorne, is he still leaving? Like, what is he doing? Is he going to be with Peugeot next year? Who knows?
That's a great question, but I don't even think Stoffel knows, because we saw what happened last year for this year. So,
exactly. And then, like, how many part-time drivers are they going to have if all of these guys are doing Formula E? Because there are, I think there's 1 or 2 races. Initially, there were, like, half the races were conflicts, and then I think they realized how many of their top drivers are also WEC drivers. Like, you lose Buemi, you lose De Vries, you lose Verne, you lose Cassidy, you lose Pourchaire, like, you lose all those guys, probably more, but those are the ones I can think of off the top of my head. One of the 2 series loses them. They're both FIA series. The FIA should be able to work with itself on its scheduling.
I agree. That's the root cause of this, in my opinion. Like guys, organize yourself.
The one thing I saw, like, every article bring up, it felt like, was apparently, like, Peugeot's trying to move away from relying so heavily on, like, part-time drivers and, like, wants to have more full-time guys. And I'm like, but then I look at the situation of their lineups. But then I look at the situation of their lineup and I'm like, this contradicts what you're saying in all these articles and your quotes about not wanting to use part-time drivers. So, like, Peugeot, which one is it?
I think Peugeot is Peugeot is going part-time on Peugeot at this point, because I don't think they know what they're doing for next year.
Bringing a new car, apparently.
Yeah.
They know that.
The 9X5 or so people have said.
Yeah.
I think that might be the one thing they are sure on. Is that they're bringing a new car. They just don't know who's driving it.
Right. And then Alpine may or may not exist. We still don't know. The Chinese brands that were rumored, there have been, like, no updates on if either of those have sealed the deal with Alpine.
Nope. And I saw, I don't remember where, but I did see someone mentioning that whether Geely or BYD were to take over the effort for next year, they would need to start, like, looking into re-homologation yesterday, basically, because they would need to change some styling cues, apparently, unless they would run the Alpine brand under someone else's brand.
I was about to say, unless they want to run the A-lights.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know that they would have to rehomologate the car.
I hope
because
not.
I do think they would just be given permission to run this year's car as is, just to keep the car there.
I hope so.
Like, yes, it wouldn't have the brand specific styling that we know that WEC wants from the cars, but, like, to keep those cars on the grid, those are well-performing cars. I mean, who knows how much of that is crew-based and operation-based, and how much of that is the car itself being, performing well. But, yeah, even though it's not like Alpine, they could still run the A-lights. They could still just run the car. Just grandfather the whole thing in. we know that WEC has done that before.
Yeah. I think the only thing that would change essentially, obviously, besides some figures at the top, would be the badging, because it would still be Sinatech rather than the cars.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so like instead of being Sinatech Alpine, it would be, BYD or Geely, like whatever, not a big change.
Signatech Lotus, give us that.
Yeah. Volvo, give me Volvo.
Yeah, that would be
I
They're
would
an
be
option.
down for that.
They are an option, aren't they?
Yes.
Like, give me Volvo.
I would actually
Volvo has
love that.
no business whatsoever being in the World Endurance Championship, but I need a new team, so, yes. I may not ultimately end up needing a new team, but right now, as it stands, because somebody hasn't made up his mind or announced, or the team hasn't made their mind up about him.
Someone.
Yes, someone. If you look inside the hat, you can see his name a bunch. But yes, somebody has not announced a WEC seat, so I am still teamless for next year. Earl Bamber is doing a decent job at convincing me that I should be liking the 38. I like Earl, so, like, I guess they're my car right now, but, like, I want a car that I'm like, that's my car. Yeah. So Volvo could be my car.
I would love it. It would be great. Volvo, if you're listening, get on it.
Yes, exactly. And then, like, the big thing for me, as, somebody who's obviously very in touch with IMSA, is what the heck is gonna happen to Colin Brown and Renger van de Zande? Because, I don't know, all these seats seem to be closing up. I still think Renger has a shot at one of these United Autosport McLaren seats, because he has driven for Zach pretty frequently in the past.
Yeah.
I think Tower is the other option.
Yeah.
He's driven for them a decent amount in the past too. So, like, those are really my two options. He's either going to United or he's going to Tower. Whether it's United in the Hypercar or United in LMP2 or Tower in LMP2, like, he has expressed he would like to race in Europe, though. So, I hope he's been talking to Zach.
What if he ends up at Peugeot?
Or that, yes! Renger to Volvo! Yes!
At this point, I feel like you can't count anyone out for Peugeot.
No.
They're getting desperate. But
Forget that! I want him at Alpine! Renger to Volvo!
Renger to Volvo.
Renger to Volvo. But in terms of...
Invented silly season rumors! Renger's going to Volvo!
Love that.
In terms of Colin, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes back to LMP2. And I mean back because when MSR, had to cease existence for a little bit, for not following the rules, that's what he did. So I wouldn't be surprised if he went back to LMP2, or, maybe Colin goes back to NASCAR. He's been doing a bunch of NASCAR stuff recently. Maybe he wants to go back to NASCAR.
Yeah, definitely possible. He has been doing a lot of NASCAR stuff lately, so
yeah.
That, wouldn't shock me. One question that I have is, so there was obviously this, rumor article, I don't even want to call it an article, published rumor from Sportscar 365 that Kévin is doing a full double program with Toyota and PPM next year. And, first off, the only thing that Kévin has confirmed publicly is he will be with Porsche in IMSA next year. So, I don't know. As of right now, Toyota doesn't have a seat to put him in. Toyota has 6 WEC hypercar drivers. So, where exactly are we putting Kévin? Because they have 6 drivers. But that got me thinking, Does Lawrence Vantor regret not waiting longer, like, until the schedule came out to finalize his deals with Porsche and McLaren for next year? Because he's obviously doing the endurance rounds for Porsche and then is full-time with McLaren, because his deals were finalized before the schedule was out. So, like, does he regret potentially not doing a full double schedule for next year? Like, his brother does a full double schedule. One of his besties, Earl Bamber, does a full double schedule. It's not like he doesn't have a lot of feedback on what doing a full double schedule is like.
Yeah. It also, though, wouldn't surprise me if, like, with it being McLaren's first year, like, just wanting to focus on developing that and, like, working on that side of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, to be fair, Earl and Dries drive the same car in both series.
Exactly.
Not two completely separate cars.
Yeah, and one isn't, like, a brand new team.
Right,
you know,
right.
like, I think for him, like, it makes sense, at least in my mindset, to want to focus on your new team and your new car.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Like, the guy maybe just wanted to change the scenery and saw in McLaren the chance to, obviously not next year because they're going to be brand new, but maybe 2028, he's finally going to see this opportunity to try and achieve that elusive Le Mans overall triumph. Who knows? Maybe that's his priority.
Right. He doesn't have kind of the same situation that Kévin does, where Kévin is trying to win Daytona and Le Mans still. All Larry has to do to be Nick Tandy 2.0 is win Le Mans overall.
Exactly.
So, yes. I mean, him and Earl are the closest to being Nick Tandy 2.0. Helps that the two of them were, like, in Nick's cars for some of these. Earl needing to win Daytona, like, probably a big reason why he's doing full-time IMSA, if I had to guess. So this weekend, was, I saw a tweet about it, where somebody was talking about the Portland race, and they were like, somehow the biggest story coming out of Portland is which of the two guys in the top 10 is going to the car that finished 14th.
Yep.
Which, that was brilliant, because it's Rinus VeeKay and Christian Lundgaard that are being looked at, supposedly, for the number 9 PNC Bank Honda with Chip Ganassi Racing. Put my hat on and say that again. The number 9 PNC Bank Honda with Chip Ganassi Racing. Watch this on YouTube. But
Boy.
no, like, the two of them are being supposedly looked at. Different people are saying different things about how open the seat even still is. Obviously, Rinus has been putting in outrageous results recently in subpar machinery. And Christian has won 2 races this year. So, like, they are both incredibly good options. It kind of comes down to, like, how much of the whole Chip likes winners thing is, like, does he want somebody who has already won races, or does he want potentially the next Alex Palou? Because when he signed Alex wasn't this, like, multi-time phenomenal race winner, you know? So, like, what is Chip's priority with this seat? I personally think that Rinus is the more all-around developed driver, but I do think he is at a slightly lower level at his peak than Christian. Like, Christian on his best day is probably a little better than Rinus, but I think Rinus is kind of average on any given day at any given track is probably better than Christian's.
I think the big thing is ovals. I think it's very obvious. We know I'm a Christian fan. I can hold my driver accountable, though. He's not good on ovals.
Very not good. And Rinus VK is pretty darn good on ovals.
Yes. Is CGR willing to work with a driver to improve ovals who this season has shown he can get 2 wins, also come from the very back to finish top 10s? And more people are saying is, if you were to look at the guy to challenge Palou, is him. Are they willing to work with that or not?
Am I wrong in saying the Indy 500 was Alex Palou's first oval win?
I was just thinking that. I was thinking about that.
So, like that's a stat that seems so bizarre, it makes me question myself every time I think about it. But, like, Alex Palou won his first oval last year.
Yes.
So, I get it. Chip wants to, like, have this Penske level ability to go at the 500 every single year. And, like, that's admirable and everything. But you do need to look kind of overall. Do you want that incredible 1-2 punch on road courses? Like, the calendar is pretty much 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. A third ovals, a third street courses, a third road courses.
Yes.
I mean, you have the road courses locked up if you have Christian and Alex. But likewise, I think you might have the ovals locked up with Rinus and Alex. With what Rinus has been able to do on ovals, in the car he's in, you put him in a Ganassi car, you may lock ovals up. Now, 2 years from now, Christian may lock ovals up, but do they want to wait that long?
Exactly. It's one of those things where I'm like, you look at their past of ovals with Alex in the sense that, like, his first win was at the 500, like, first oval win. So it doesn't seem like, at least in my mind, it's obvious they're okay with helping a driver develop. It just comes down to which avenue they want to go down for that. Of helping a guy develop on ovals or helping a guy develop a little bit more, like, overall. And it's not that they're far off from each other. It's just, if you're looking at results from this year and in the past.
So they're not far off from each other, but look at the difference in machinery.
Exactly.
That's why I, personally, if it were me, if I were Mr. Chip Ganassi, I would be picking Rinus VK, because look at what he's doing in a team that has no business performing the way he's performing. Like, Christian's teammate, Pato Award, has won a race. He's been up there. He's been competitive. Christian's been up there being competitive. Rinus is dragging that car to places it shouldn't be. He's got, like, 3 or 4 P4s out of the past 6 races. Like, it's unreal what he's doing, quite frankly. So if it were me, that would be my choice. But it does kind of sound like Christian's probably gets the seat.
Yeah. I also think for me, you have to even think of, like, along 2 seasons ago, Christian was kind of this situation of Rinus in the sense of not being in a great team. So it's also, we just haven't gotten the chance to see what Rinus would be like in a good team, whereas we have gotten the chance with Christian.
Right. No, for sure. And then something that I think took a lot of people by big surprise over the weekend was Maya Vogue has said she has no racing program anymore. This is last year's runner-up in F1 Academy. Someone that you would think F1 Academy should have done stuff for her. She was a Ferrari Driver Academy driver. I say was because as soon as F1 Academy ended, boom, that disappeared. She was doing Belcar this year, which, if you know the 24 Hours of Zolder, that's a Belcar race. It's just Belgium's national, sports car, touring car series. But, it's something. There's a lot of money in Belgium. There's a lot of teams in Belgium. There are a lot of great drivers in Belgium that, you can catch the attention of by doing this series. That ride fell through for her. She was set to do the 24 Hours of Zolder, and that fell through. She has no opportunity to race right now. And it just... At what point does F1 Academy need to, reconsider what they're doing overall? Because it feels like it's entirely on the Formula One teams after these young women time out from F1 Academy. Dorian Penn is absolutely being hooked up by Mercedes. Them keeping her on as part of their team, having her as a sim driver, having her at the races, all of that. It's amazing, but they're the only team that's doing that. She also has because she has a prior sports car career where she was really good in sports cars, sports car teams are looking at. If you're someone who just came up, I keep on saying F1 Academy needs to be for 16 to 18-year-olds. There shouldn't be 25-year-olds in F1 Academy. If you come straight from karting into F1 Academy at 16, do F1 Academy from 16 to 18, and then are hung out to dry at 18, how is a sports car team going to know to take a chance on you? Unless you bring a lot of money from sponsors that you gained while you were with F1 Academy that are willing to stay with you. It's a mess. And one thing I said online was, until people stop looking at single-seaters, and specifically European formula cars, because when I say single-seaters, I'm not talking about FE, I'm not talking about IndyCar. I am talking about the Formula One feeder series ladder. Until people stop looking at that as the end-all and be-all of motorsport, progress is not going to happen out of F1 Academy. These drivers are not going to Freck and being successful.
Well, also, dare I say it, F1 Academy did kind of screw Maya over, in the sense that she was already with Ferrari beforehand. It seemed like she was going to be the next female driver with the strongest chance of going to F3, and then F1 Academy kind of came along, and Ferrari kind of just were like, we need a female driver, we're sending you to F1 Academy, and kind of screwed up her trajectory. Yeah, she was already in Freck.
And that's kind of the thing is, would it be better to just have F1 Academy be a sponsorship program? It's an academy in the same way the Ferrari Driver Academy is, or the Porsche Junior program is, where you get funding and sponsorship from these teams, from these brands, but you are placed within a regional F4 series, or if you're good enough, you're placed within Freck, but with all of this funding and these sponsors and all this stuff that is currently in F1 Academy. Because I'm going to be honest, the fact that they're driving different cars than regional F4 cars is a problem. The drivers that have driven in regional F4 say that those cars are so much different to drive than the F1 Academy cars. Because F1 Academy is about branding and it's about image, so they want them to look more like Formula One cars, rather than being drivable F4 cars.
And a huge issue with F1 Academy has also just been, like we said, the huge turnover of, really, it just is teams feel obligated literally by the rule set to sign a female driver. The second they're out of F1 Academy, drop them. Really, the only teams we haven't seen doing it is Mercedes. Ferrari used to be one of them. Doesn't really seem like it anymore. And then McLaren, but in kind of the opposite direction. They're signing female drivers now before F1 Academy to kind of get them into other series before then. So it's really Mercedes and McLaren that seem to be the only ones kind of helping female drivers in other parts of their careers outside of F1 Academy.
Yeah, and then I reckon if the this idea, if it was, let's say, a sponsorship program, a sponsorship package, and they were placed in regional series, given it's not an international series, I think it would help regarding age restrictions. I think you have to be 16.
Yes.
So that would
for
help.
International license, you need to be 16. Yeah,
That
you could get girls a whole year younger. You could get 15-year-olds, because there are 15-year-olds in the regional F4 series.
Plus, they're in a level playing field. Like, they're not, dare I say, being quote unquote set up for failure by having to drive a different because they're being set up for failure, essentially.
100%.
Flat out. And then we already talked about stewarding, but there was another stewarding decision
Still
in this past week
by this.
that is very confusing. It's in Supercars. I don't think it's a shocker that I'm going to talk about Supercars, but here we are. Supercars basically put out a statement saying they're appealing a decision that their stewards made in regards to Penrite Grove and tires. So basically, Kai Allen's tire pressure before the race started was low, but by the time the race started, was okay. So the stewards didn't penalize the team, since by the time the race started, it was fixed, it was good. So they decided no penalty. But Supercars is appealing that.
It's very odd. When I saw this come up on Instagram, I went to the comments because I was like, I don't know what this means. And everyone was literally in the comments like, they're appealing their own stewards? Yes, they are.
Yeah, I didn't even know that you could appeal your own stewards. I guess you can, because it's happening, but like, it's weird.
It's a mess. Yeah. That's what you mean. It's messy.
Yeah, and like their explanation is like they're appealing the stewards to better understand the decision process making. And I'm like, shouldn't you as the series like know that?
Yeah, I don't
makes no sense to me.
So another thing that came out online that had people kind of worked up was Coda and Silverstone announced that they're doing this like raffle for a joint ticket package for Coda in October and Silverstone next July for the Formula One races. Cool, except that they hyped it up so much that people were like, are they going to run the final two races of the season? Guys, you can't run a race in England in November or December. So, like, that wasn't happening. Coda, yeah, you could probably run, like, an extra race in November in Austin, Texas. Like, that's realistic, but, like, that was never going to be. But people were so amped up about what it was potentially going to be that when it came out that it was literally a raffle, it was kind of ridiculous, and it's only open to US and UK residents. And I'm just saying, like, if someone from the UK wins, they're kind of on a tight timeline to get over here for October. And then accommodations and travel are not included. And it's basically just glorified grandstands. You're not getting paddock access. It's not VIP. It's grandstands with free food, which, like, food at Coda is expensive, so free food would be cool. I just sent it in one of our group chats earlier today. There was a food truck doing cheesesteaks, and the cheesesteak was $24 before tax. So, like, yes, free food at Coda would be phenomenal, but, like, if you are the tracks, offer something cool like VIP access where you can go into the paddock and, like, actually see drivers, not just a fancy grandstand. It's dumb. I'm not even entering because it's dumb.
It was just, the announcement came out and it was like, their
That's
two
it?
logos, like, put together on a graphic, and I was like, what could this even mean? Like,
Yeah.
I was just, like, so confused. It's, in my mind, it's even just, like, a weird crossover to begin with.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels like it's appealing to a really weird demographic of fans that can afford to go to a different continent, right? Because it has to be someone who lives in the US or the UK, and it is tickets to both races. So, like, say I did enter and I did win. I live 2 hours from Coda. No problem there. But, say you entered and you won, Oz. That's a $400 flight to Texas, and having to get a hotel, all of which the track / Formula One isn't paying for. So, like,
Not
stupid.
to mention,
like, honestly,
kind of last minute as well, because like F1 is when October,
Yeah.
and we're already in August.
Yeah.
So we know last
Yup.
minute things are
Right,
expensive.
trying to get time off work.
My
Trying to get a
first
flight.
thought process was time off work for people, because a lot of jobs are like 3
6
months,
months.
plus advance,
Yeah.
6 months plus advance. Like, it's just not realistic.
Yeah, it's not for us. Like, this is not for us. This is for that demographic that isn't the one that Formula One needs to appeal to.
No, because it's also the demographic that already would be able to do this.
Yes, exactly. If you can afford to fly over to England or fly over to the United States, you were going to be able to come to this race anyways. The $3,000 ticket that Coda is comping you is not I could go and buy this ticket for the whatever it's called, hideout or whatever this stupid thing is called at Coda right now. It's $3,000. That's twice what my seats are. I don't spend $1,500 on food, so it's not worth it. But, like, I'm sorry, that is pathetic from the track. And I don't know. There were some people that were like, "Oh, you're speaking from a place of privilege because you can already go to a Formula One race." And, like, yeah, maybe I am, but if a track is giving away something that they're advertising as, like, an amazing giveaway, make it amazing. So, later this week, I'm going to put together an article. If you follow me online, I did a bunch of polls because I was trying to, like, gauge people's opinion on various topics in IMSA. Oh my gosh, people really like the idea of a success ballast in IMSA. And then in the comments, people were talking about this, like, long rolling year-over-year success ballast because apparently the fact that Porsche was really good in 2024 and 2025 is a reason they should be handicapped this year, rather than, like, because they were good. I fully admit, yes, at Long Beach, they should have taken a pretty hefty BOP hit. Totally. They won the first 2 races. They went 1-2 at the second race. Give them a pretty hefty BOP hit. They probably would have gone 1-2 at Daytona if the 6 had made their pit stop when they should have. So, realistically, yes, on pace, they were the fastest 2 cars in the first 2 races. Give them max weight for the 3rd race. But don't give them max weight because they went 1-2 last year at Sebring. Which is what people are saying. Like, BOP is not there to punish a successful team, it's there to balance the field. 1 car has been on every podium this year, and that is the 2026 spec V-Series R. That is embarrassing in a BOP series. I've said this before. And when it's a series that has shown that they will take harsh action against a car that dominantly wins races, when one car now has won multiple races in a row, all the way back to Detroit, the V Series R has won. So, yeah, maybe there should be some action there. It's kind of an embarrassment that there hasn't been.
Yeah, I think also, at least in my eyes, part of people being like success ballast is the fact that the 31 has been winning so much and it doesn't feel like has been being hit by BOP, so a lot of people are getting upset over that and thinking success ballast would fix that.
There's no leeway with success ballast. If you win, you get, let's just use DTM. If you win, you get 25 kilos. There is no, well, we think it should be, it is, you win, you get heavier. So I can see why people like it. I don't have an issue necessarily with success ballast. I have an issue with some sort of looking at last year's results to implement a success ballast essentially on this year.
Because like last year, they would have been on different levels of BOP anyway, so it would be, I don't know, it just wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
It wouldn't make any sense.
No, not at all.
Well, speaking of, well, not last year, but next year, something that we've been anticipating is when we are going to catch a glimpse of whatever the Ford LMDH is. And at this point, we're almost halfway through August. Does the car even exist at this point? Because I feel like the masses are getting anxious, Ford. When are you giving us a glimpse? So, yeah.
The masses is me. I am the masses.
I have a theory. So Cadillac has been teasing some sort of something getting announced at the Quail, right? And they're clearly using the V Series R silhouette in that advertisement.
Yes.
Could they be pulling a, maybe not full road going, like not 963 RSP level car, but like maybe more like Ferrari's little special colorful 499p thing. But like if Caddy is supposed to announce something like that, the Quail, could Ford announce their hypercar that same weekend to just take all the wind out of Cadillac's sail? Ford versus GM is, to me, honestly, the bigger story than Ford versus Ferrari next year.
I agree.
So 100%.
And that's potentially because I'm American, but that is absolutely something I could see Ford doing.
I was about to say, it is for me partly because I am in the divide. And have been taken by Ford. But yeah, that's always been, at least to me, the bigger rivalry is Ford versus GM, so it wouldn't surprise me. Also, you're getting people talking about you more by building up all this hype and making them sit on the edge of their seats waiting for the car.
See, I think that it's not getting people excited anymore. I think people are upset at this point. And if this car does not absolutely blow people away, so say when they start doing public testing and the car has normal public testing, like Genesis did last year, where it fails to do its full 24-hour test. It has issues. It has issues on 12-hour test. Something like that. Things that are pretty standard. People are going to look at that so much more harshly because of how long they waited. I don't think that this personally was a good move. I think if Ford had just said, you'll have our car by September, it would have been one thing. The problem is, they said publicly they were going to start testing in the first week of August. And we've gotten nothing. It's got people not saying, oh my gosh, I want to see the car. It's got people saying, like what you said opening this segment up, Aries, does the car even exist? Or is it an engine and a tub, but without functioning suspension, without wheels on it, without, is it a car in pieces? That's more what I've been seeing people saying, and there's a pretty good question about that.
Yeah.
It's still my car no matter what, so...
It's like people are getting Lamborghini flashbacks because we've seen something
exactly.
like that happen, and something that was supposedly big end up failing spectacularly. So people don't want to see that again. Especially this
No,
kind of
for
Ford
sure.
that we know is, it's a big thing for Ford. It's not like something that's half or more than half backed by a privateer. Like this is the whole. This is it's got full factory
Right.
backing.
It's Ford turned down the offers from teams to
Yes.
be an operating partner. They had tenders from teams to be an operating partner, and Ford said, "Nah, we got this." When you do something like that, that's a pretty bold, brash move.
Yes.
You better come out good. And it's been sketchy so far for Ford.
I'm still waiting, though. Not so patiently.
Not
but I am still
patiently
waiting.
at all.
Mainly because my favorite driver is there. So I just, as long as he has a car, I'm happy. So
But
I just
does
want
he?
to see the car.
But does he have a car?
That is the question.
Maybe by next week we'll know if he has a car.
We hope.
Who knows?
One can hope.
Yeah. Well, thank you for 100 episodes of listening. You can find us on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at Orange Flag Pod. Nicole is at Nicole on Racing. Austin is at Austin Trackside, and Aries is at Aries_Alpenglow.
Stay orange.